The Soul House. A haunted thriller novel. The house stood like a secret waiting to be whispered. At the end of a fog-drenched lane in the village of Raventun, it loomed, its blackened windows staring blankly, its creaking timbers seeming to sigh with centuries of sorrow. No one remembered when it was built. No one remembered who had lived there last. All they remembered were the people who never returned after stepping inside. They called it the Soul House. Eleanor Morrow was a paranormal investigator, not out of curiosity but necessity. Her younger brother, Timothy, had disappeared 3 months ago in Raventun. His last known location, the Soul House. The local authorities dismissed the case. People vanished there, they said, shrugging like it was a mundane fact. Best not to dig deeper. But Eleanor dug. Armed with old maps, journal entries from previous victims, and Timothy's torn notebook recovered from the house's iron gate, she arrived in Raventun on a misty evening in October. The villagers refused to talk to her, crossing themselves when she asked about the house. An old woman at the inn whispered, "It eats what it needs. Souls are its wine." Eleanor, skeptical but driven, went anyway. The gate opened without a sound. The iron latch was cold, unnaturally cold. She stepped inside the overgrown yard. The path seemed to warp under her feet, like reality thinned the closer she came to the door. When she reached it, the door swung open before she could knock. Inside, the air was heavy and thick like molasses. Her flashlight flickered. Walls stretched longer than they should have. Rooms twisted impossibly, doorways shifting, leading her in circles. But the house didn't want her to leave. She felt it. Each time she tried to return to the front door, the hallway had changed. The stairs led up and down at the same time. Reflections in cracked mirrors showed moments from her past, her childhood, her fears, her guilt. And somewhere, always just out of sight, she heard Timothy calling. "I'm here." "Ellie." Eleanor pressed on. In the library, she found journals of people who had once entered the house. Each entry ended mid-sentence. Some pages were scorched, others soaked in tears. One note was scrawled in blood, "The house learns you. Then it breaks you." In the attic, she met the first of them. A woman in a faded wedding dress, translucent and weeping, floated beside a shattered crib. "He said he'd come back," she murmured. "He never did. Now I am the lullaby." Then she vanished into moths. The house was alive. It was sentient. Every soul it trapped, it twisted into a fragment of itself. The walls bled memories. The floorboards moaned regrets. And as Eleanor descended deeper into the bowels of the structure, she realized the house was endless on the inside. A maze of torment. She passed through a corridor of portraits, faces moving, whispering. One painting was of her, already aged, eyes hollow, mouth sewn shut. In the dining room, a banquet of rotting food sat untouched while shadowy figures screamed silently around the table. A little boy sat at the head. It was Timothy. He looked up at her, eyes black as pitch. "Why did you leave me, Ellie?" Her breath caught. "I came for you." "You're too late." The room melted away. Now she was in a graveyard beneath the house. Each tombstone bore the names of those who had entered, including hers. Eleanor Morrow. Died searching. She tried to run, but the ground split open and hands reached out, familiar hands. Timothy's. Her mother's. Even herself. A version of her that had already given up. She screamed, and the world turned white. When she awoke, she was in the parlor again. Only this time, the house was calm. Silent. As if satisfied. She wandered until she found a mirror, shimmering ancient. It pulsed like a heartbeat. On instinct, she stepped through it. She landed in a chamber of light and shadow, suspended in a void. There, standing before her, was the heart of the house. A humanoid figure made of faces, hundreds, perhaps thousands, shifting constantly. "You seek your brother," it said in a voice made of whispers. "I want him back. You may leave, but only alone. Then I stay." The figure paused. Then, for the first time, it trembled. "No one has ever said that." Eleanor moved closer. "Let them go. All of them. Take me instead." The house screamed. Walls cracked, windows shattered inward, storms howled through every room. But Eleanor didn't move. She stood firm. "I offer my soul." Not in fear, but in defiance. The house began to dissolve. The figure crumbled into dust. And one by one, the trapped spirits floated upward, free. Eleanor watched Timothy rise too, his eyes full of tears. "You saved me." Then he faded, smiling. The house collapsed inward like a dying star. Eleanor fell into blackness. Days later, Raventon villagers found the plot of land where the soul house had once stood. Nothing remained but a scorched circle and a single gravestone. Eleanor Morrow. She walked into the mouth of the beast and silenced its hunger. But on stormy nights, if you walk too close to where the house once stood, you can still hear it breathing, just faintly. Waiting. Because hunger always returns.